a year, taking care of all of our concrete repairs. This last year, it was $100,000, and we only got half the work done. Now, supposing this coming year, we need $150,000 to do it. What are you suggesting we do? Put it out for vote and wait 4 months for people to say that it's gonna be an extra $5 a month to be able to get your sidewalks and have most of your neighbors will go, there's nothing wrong with my sidewalks, I'm voting no. So therefore, your sidewalks don't get fixed, or yours, or yours, or yours. That's what the board is there for, to vote on the fact that those sidewalks have to be repaired.
The board is there to protect
Otherwise,
our
if you
association
want
and the
us to
community.
go and vote for every time we spend $10, $20, $30,000.
But you
Just to
didn't vote.
clarify that point, Jack, they took care of the sidewalks now. They used to take care of the front yards also. Well, they still do, right?
Oh,
We
we
take
paid
To
for
a
it.
certain extent.
But
Yeah.
if the tree's roots creates the problem
Yeah.
underground, now it's my responsibility.
The trees
It's
that-
no
No, it's
more
not,
you
and
take
that's
care of
the
the
thing,
front
it
yard,
should be.
The
and they
trees
want
that are on your
$500
property,
to remove it.
the
Yeah.
trees that are on your property, okay, you're responsible for.
Well, why'd they come and remove 3 palm trees for nothing and then replace them?
Were they on your property?
Yeah, yeah, right in the front yard, same as the
They, mine got ripped up.
Were
and
they
never
by
got
the
replaced.
road, or were they inside
They're
your
in my
home?
front yard, next to this oak tree.
They did it in ours too.
I thought the only trees that we removed, we're getting off the subject. The
I
only trees we
understand, I just wanted to
removed
clarify.
are out
point
by
about-
the road that are over the water line.
Yeah, these were dead,
Okay, they were dead.
they were removed,
Leave them there?
and 2 were removed.
But they don't
That's
replace it.
exactly.
All right. Anybody for this thing?
I'm
Jack,
for it.
I thought it was really simple.
Everybody's for
I'm for
it.
it, it's just a language.
Some of them
It's
It's
only
ridiculous.
to change the language, we can't.
Just a simple
But that's where she.
Well, then let's do it over
If I
again.
pay them on, if I pay them $120, they say I don't use, I use maybe $80. What happens to the rest? Then when I go by the following year, I can
No,
claim
it's
it.
for 1 year.
I know the way you lose it if you don't use it.
Yeah, but it's so, I mean,
Why would you
you're
lose it
talking
if
a
you-
lunch. You're talking a lunch a month. I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
a
but sometimes
newspaper
if you
every
go
Sunday.
away, if you go away, you don't use it, you don't have the time.
When
My
you-
question is, if you only use $40 and you have 80 there,
You should be
why
able to
actually
go
lose
all over.
they should be turned over for the
Most
next year.
definitely.
I know I have to pay another $120, but I got $200 now.
Right.
Nobody said
Makes
that there
sense.
was a limit on it.
That's right. They never said it was for a year.
Per year.
You never mentioned that. You never mentioned that.
Does it say that in the paper that you've been complaining about? What does it say?
Which paper? This paper?
No, the changes to the documents. What
Shouldn't
does
be
it
able to
say?
lose it.
$120 per unit per year.
Exactly.
That we have to pay, but that's not about the credit.
No, I'm talking about the
The
credit.
credit doesn't say it expires.
It should not
It
expire.
doesn't expire, does it?
He just
It
said it
does
does.
He's saying it
expire.
does. That should be taken up too. Why should it expire?
Why should the association, us,
Because
What are we
not be
trying,
protected?
what are we trying to accomplish?
we
We're
try
trying to
Open.
stop and think, what
You
are we
think's
trying to
right.
accomplish?
It should be
First
open
of
and
all-
honest. This is not being open and honest.
I'm so tired of hearing not open and honest.
It's on the board in the post
Yeah,
office
It's true. It is
What?
true.
that this meeting is be open and honest and truthful.
I'm trying to be open and honest, but what are we trying to accomplish here?
But
We're
first-
trying to keep this open as an amenity,
I'm
whatever you want to call it.
Just vote on
Definitely.
that.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah,
I
and
just
Jack.
answer me my question. That's all I
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, it's, if you can't use
If
a
I don't
hundred,
use it for any reason, I'll be sick, 6 months at the hospital. I don't use it.
Go
Half
sell
of the money, where the half
somebody
go?
else.
when you come out of the hospital, throw your friends and neighbors a great party, he'll cater it and use it then.
It
Yeah.
should
60
roll
bucks you
over.
got.
There's no
doesn't,
reason it
Jack,
shouldn't
it doesn't
roll
say that
over.
it expires.
None whatsoever.
Psychological massage.
Where does it say it expires? It doesn't say that.
Okay.
Well,
what
with
are we
the
trying-
threshold,
what are we
once
trying to
Why
a
would we
year,
lose
once a
weight?
year,
What
that's
are we
what it
trying
is.
to accomplish? We're trying to keep this place open.
Right,
And
which
all
is a
I'm
good
hearing
thing.
is, I don't, if I don't use it, I want to keep it. If I don't use it, I don't want to be billed for it.
That's a
We're
legitimate.
trying to keep this place open.
But at whose expense?
The communities at
Fine.
So
$120.
then why
Spend it.
isn't why isn't the board trying to protect the community instead of making sure that we protect the industry?
Oh, wait a minute, that's a part.
No, but we shouldn't lose
We
it.
shouldn't lose it. We're
I'll use it
actually
up,
the
and I mean, you know,
association.
What do you have
this
to
is more
say?
for other people
Sydney?
anyway.
If you move from here to one of these senior life care places, like once you're in, you're in, and you buy a meal plan, because I know I have friends and family that are in them. If you do not use up this quarter's allotment, you lose it. I don't think you're gonna find any place that's halfway decent that's gonna say, oh, well, Mr. So-and-so, you didn't use it all, here, have a credit.
Why wouldn't it roll over? It makes no sense not to.
Because,
It should
ever-
definitely roll
Jack,
over.
can I answer the gentleman?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay? You come and you have a meal here.
Uh-huh.
He's figured it out that of everybody that comes here, it's maybe only 200 or so homes that are partaking in coming here. The objective of the whole thing is, how do you get 1,357 homes
Everybody should be using
exposed
it.
to this
Yeah,
place?
everybody should be using
Well,
it.
that's what the whole purpose was.
But they still shouldn't lose their credit.
Because then you're getting away from what the objective is.
No, you're not getting away from it. You just have more for next year. That's all. You just use
No,
them
you still
you
have the
paid for it.
1,357 homes, or the portion of them that didn't come out here.
So they still have to pay $120
They still
regardless
have
what.
to pay it.
No, the whole
You
point is.
just have more to use for next year. That's
No,
all.
no, the whole point
Should
is
never
that he
lose
needs
your
more
money.
revenue. He needs more revenue. If you, he can't record the revenue until you use it. He has an escrow account set up in your name. That's not revenue to him until you come in and use it. He needs revenue.
You
He
need
doesn't need a
people
whole bunch of
coming in.
escrow accounts set up.
Do we have an
That
escrow
doesn't serve
account?
the
We get
purpose.
interest on?
But we still should roll over.
Have any of you folks ever, in your past life, belonged to a tennis club or a golf course or anything else up north? Okay, then you all know that when you go there, you pay your dues, plus they'll tell you you've got to pay $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a
Minimum.
year in the bar, in the restaurant. I remember my dad taking me when I was a little kid to have Thanksgiving at the country club that he belonged to, along with the neighbors, friends, relatives, everyone he could pile in there, because he still had $1,000 he had to spend before December 1st, or he was gonna lose it.
Well, that's why we
All right,
live here, not at those places.
Therein lies the problem.
So this is normal. There are
Not for this.
13 communities that have a restaurant cafe, and there 11 of them all have what we're proposing, except even more so. There are only 2 that don't have where you have to pay or should pay or prepay. And that's Village Walk and RiverWalk. And we both are having the same problems. They are now into their 9th person over there. Their gas pumps have been closed for 3 years. And that nice lady that's trying to survive over there, she's gonna die too. We're trying to keep this place from dying. And I'm hearing Mickey Mouse answers to why you think it's not a great idea.
These are valid
This language,
concerns,
I
and we
know
should
they're-
not, we
Maybe
should
the
not
language
be
is
mocked.
not quite the
Not
way
that
I
everybody
want it.
else.
Well,
Excuse me.
we've got the language, we're voting on it. All I can ask you is, please, number one, trust your 7 directors. We're neighbors, we're residents,
You're
we're not
asking
trying
it
to
to
screw you.
fail. You're asking it to fail, is what you're doing. By your answer to that, you're asking it to fail.
So the number that we're going to be giving him every month, every week, every year is how much? 156,000?
Whatever 120 times,
1,300 is 156,000.
Everybody would have to.
What happens if he really is, now people, the first year, they get a taste of his
Roast beef.
food and
Home beef.
loves it? Are we then gonna have to, and it becomes a success without our 120? Are we still gonna have to allocate money towards him?
I honestly don't know, Diane.
Well, these are things that you should be.
Then you shouldn't
No,
take the
no, no,
vote.
no, it said, what does it say, what is it saying what you're voting?
I don't know, it's in our document, so that means we have to live that forever and ever until we change the documents again.
How it's gonna be done?
Jack, do you know when John had the place, how that was very successful, wasn't it?
Negative.
Are you serious?
Negative.
I don't know. I don't
He
know. I'm
lost so
asking.
much money in here.
John
Bob
did?
Nichols lost 50 to 75,000. Peter
John, I'm talking about.
Greenstein lost tons of money in
Talking
here.
about John.
John lost money every year.
Really?
Every year.
But he didn't
They
care.
accused
Every
him
year.
of having 2 sets of books.
Wow, I never knew that.
Every year. This
I
place
I
has
thought it
been,
was so, I thought it was so.
we have got the best of all worlds right now. We've got the best of all
I
worlds.
thought he did good.
He lost his shirt.
I didn't know that. The place was always
Extremely
busy.
important
There
for
was
us to make
people
sure this
always
works.
hanging out, eating
Are you-
over there like crazy.
Are you
Another
serious?
assessment
You know how
board.
much that place used to
And
take
another
in?
board
I
will
don't
fix
know.
everything.
$200, $250 a
Another
day.
board will
Are you
fix everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
I'm
he
surprised.
lost his
You know,
shirt.
counting
I
of the
didn't
votes
know
is
that.
another
I'm
thing.
surprised. I thought he did good.
Even if it doesn't pass, it pass.
Very simple.
Yep.
It says a separate amount to be determined by the board. So that means that if next year, you know, Rich starts driving his Rolls,
Hey,
you
I
know,
hope, I
and
hope.
I do too.
I hope.
You know, and his wife
hope you
shows
do.
up after her trip to Paris. The board can just say, hey, that's it, you know, you don't need our help anymore. But if a year from now you need the help, we can say, okay, one more year, but not to exceed $120 a year. We're all hoping that Rich, and he's sitting over there, and I'm sorry you have to hear some of this.
Okay, I don't hear anything bad.
Why, there's nothing
I really don't.
negative to
No.
Rich.
Nothing for him. He's great, man. The place is
So
great.
the language of what you're proposing
We want him
has
here.
nothing to do with
We
it.
want him.
Absolutely, and I respect that, so I'm not.
But we also have to make sure that he's gonna be here next year and the year after that and
We
the year
want him
after
to
that.
succeed.
Who's to say that he's, again, not gonna sell his business?
Well, if he's making a profit, I doubt if he's gonna
You-
sell it.
Well,
You
you
know?
know, if anybody has a
I hope
business,
the
you know,
guy-
you craft a business in order to sell the
No,
business.
I think she has a very valid point
All
on
right,
what you're
how
saying.
would you
I mean,
answer?
if I decide, you know, in a couple of years from now, or God forbid something happens, and my
Right.
wife has to sell the business, I completely understand that. You know, but then there's safeguards that you have to put in my lease. In other words, if I sell, then I have to sell under these conditions, and the new person has to meet whatever, you know.
But we
If
don't
this-
see those
Getting back
safeguards.
to-
You're asking us to
The
vote
safeguards,
blindly.
those safeguards would be in the lease.
But we don't see
Uh,
the lease, so this way it would act in concert with the,
But once we get a lease all written
But
up
we'll
and
be
everything
voting
else,
before the
as-
lease.
Well,
So we-
yeah, he's not gonna sign a 5-year lease unless you folks
But
say,
we can
yeah,
see
let's
the
go.
well, we could see the lease with.
We haven't written it yet. We're not gonna go through that hassle. Have the attorney charges X amount of
You
dollars
need a new attorney,
for a lease that we
So
don't
we're-
even know if
we're
we're
voting
gonna
blindly.
sign? No, you're
Blindly.
not.
We're
These
voting
attorneys are
blindly.
crooks.
We're
Yes,
voting
ma'am.
blindly.
I hate to say it, but
A
they're
bit of a
crooks.
question based upon something you just said. And I don't want to belabor this. I'm just trying to get a specific answer. And that is on the operation of the commercial portions here. And you said, because that's the way the attorney wrote it. And then you just said, well, if we have the attorney change anything, it's 130,000. So, am I understanding that
But,
you
well, hold on, hold on.
want-
If
am
we have the attorney change it, it'll be
It costs you money to have an
130,000?
attorney to change something.
I don't remember saying
Why
that.
don't
You
the
just
board
said-
change it?
So my question to you is, in the question that we posed about in 6.1, is the attorney and the board not willing to address that issue, to change it to be more specific, because they don't want to pay extra money for this?
To the attorney.
To the attorney?
When we got everything back from the attorney, every board member read it. And I only saw one problem in it, and I asked them to make a change. And they were originally gonna collect the money the first, second, third quarter. I said first, second, fourth, so it was changed. Every other board member read it, and we're all familiar with our documents, because we live by it whenever
And
we do something.
Sometimes I wonder whether, you see it over and over again, so it's kind of like breathing for you. For us, we see it for the first time, it's like a fresh eye seeing
Yeah.
something. And that's where the concern lies. I'm all for supporting this. $120 is, I live on a fixed income as well. It's not gonna change my life, $120. And I like the food, I like everything here. I was ready to vote for this until I saw this one sentence. And it's really, I feel really unfortunate that this one sentence will then put me in a position to cast a no vote.